That is not the right link. That's an image. Right. Hopefully this works. Or am I just gonna have to share my whole screen? Thanks, OBS. You kinda suck. Reset transformation. Hello. Yeah, Garden update came out, and so... Yeah, I'm doing alright. Garden update came out, and so I'm just farming. Or, what? No, it's just singular. I'm just farming, and, to say that the Skyblock market has completely just exploded in terms of farming, like, seeds are like 50 coins per, so if you, like... I wish I was joking here, like, there's so much demand for wheat, it's not even funny. But as of right now, yeah, it's a lot of pumpkin, but, like, I need it. This is more of just a general chill thing. Video came out yesterday. I have been doing a lot of stuff in the background, so I just kind of need me, so this is more so just a farming stream more than anything. All things considered, I probably should be doing this on my garden, but I don't want to. So that's good. I had fun making it, even though I did say it was a pain to write, but that was more so just because there's a lot less resources when it comes to winter stuff compared to severe weather and hurricanes, and that's kind of a problem. There's a lot of winter stuff that I really want to cover at some point, but Georgia's Snowmageddon 2011, 2014, I think those both are subject to a video at some point or another. But the problem is that there's so little footage. Yeah, when it comes to Northeast states, we got... I believe there's something... Yes, there is Storm of the Century that's happening in March. Today is my only day where I consider my day off because immediately tomorrow I'm going to begin writing the script for Maria. Maria's going to have no interviews, similar to Katrina, but it's simply because of a time thing. But Storm of the Century, it's going to be a state-by-state impact type of deal. With majority of focus being put on, I'm trying to remember what states I'm going to try and primarily focus on. But I know Georgia's going to be one of them, because I think it's the only time in state history that we've observed, only time we've observed blizzard conditions. Pennsylvania, because yes, and then some other stuff. I don't know why my game is stuttering every time I, like, slightly move my head. Like, or at least, maybe it's not a thing on my end, it's an OBS thing. I don't know. Yeah, I tend to avoid events that have been covered by other people, like, unless it's, like, a really bad, unless the majority of the videos on them kind of suck, so, like, Sandy was one of those videos where, like, nobody did a good job. on it. You know, I think when it comes to that, and the other thing covering those events is that I don't have radar imagery, so that makes covering the tornadoes themselves really difficult. At least in terms of making it visually interesting. The other thing that I am going to be doing Northeast... Do I have anything else Northeast-wise this year? I don't think I do. I think I have the 2014 Buffalo, Lake Effect Snow Crisis, somewhere. I think that's planned for November, but don't quote me on that. I think that's planned for November. But yeah, like, there's a lot of other stuff I really want to do as well. There's, I'm thinking about, at some point or another, so the ultimate plan, which I doubt it's ever going to happen, at least right now, is that for... Please tell me there's a way to disable guild chat. Okay, so guild, mute, everyone. What? Can I... Oh, I don't have permission to use that command. What is this tomfoolery? Yeah, why does my... Is OBS just, like, losing its mind? It, like... Hold up, I have an idea. It doesn't freak out in windowed mode. Okay. So this may actually be the solution. Alright, actually, yeah, this... How about can I... Taskbar settings? We're gonna hide my taskbar. Okay, yeah, so... Hopefully this works better. This is only temporary. I like doing full screen more than anything else. But yeah, this is just a... Hopefully this... Yeah, that seems to fix it. Okay. I don't know why OBS has a stroke every time I try to do it in full screen, but I guess it's just a thanks OBS moment. Also, do not mind guild chat if they say something stupid. But I think the big thing that I'm... Okay, so I might as well tell you exactly what I really want to do. So, right now, the plan is that I'm traveling to El Reno, and because, Griff is, I think, going to help cover the cost for us traveling there, and it's going to be 2 people instead of 1, that it shouldn't be that big of a deal, because I have to pay taxes this year, which is a fun topic, you know, because I love tax evasion. Wait, no, I don't mean that. But to put it one way, is that because I'll be traveling with Griff, it's probably going to be less expensive and stuff like that, because he'll help pay for part of the stuff. But the ultimate goal was that Super Typhoon Haiyan, there's going to be a video on that in October. One of the things that I was thinking of, I keep thinking about whenever I'm on my way home from college is just, what if I just traveled to the Philippines for that? And, you know, knowing me, I would stick out like a sore thumb, and the only people I know who are Filipino are in Manila, who can speak the language, so, like, I'm screwed there, but, like, it would be cool. The other thing is that, and this may be a plan for next year, is that when I cover the anything from Japan, I have a cousin who is fluent in Japanese. He taught English there for about 3 years. So if I do anything in Japan, which will probably be Super Typhoon Hagapis and maybe a couple tornado videos, I don't know. I may actually end up traveling there with them, and he may be my translator. Again, I'm thinking way too far ahead in the future, but it's something that I am definitely thinking about in the background, more often than not. Because I get bored easily, so that's probably the main thing that I'm going with there. Anything else? Oh yeah, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream at my parents' house because I will be moving back spring break, which I think is 2nd or 3rd week of March. I keep forgetting, but it's anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks out from today. I will be moving out of my grandparents' house and moving back in with my parents. I will be getting access to the personal router up in the office, which seems to be fine. It takes forever to load stuff, but, like, there isn't, like, any delay, typically. And at least I tested it earlier today. It can run 720p YouTube videos with, like, no buffering. And that's all I really care for, because the upscale from 720 to 1040 or 1080 isn't very drastic. It's not as drastic as going from, like, you know, 240p to 1080, you know. And so that's the good news there, at least. But in terms of upload speed, I think it's also fine. I haven't seen anything, so yeah, it's just been one crazy week, and this will probably, you know, originally I was gonna move out tomorrow, originally, but then I got COVID and gave it to everybody in my family. Because of course I did. I gave it to everybody in my family. So, in the process of giving it to everyone, one of the things that we were going to have to do is that when I moved back into my parents' house, because my brother is a complete disaster, the entire room was, like, destroyed in terms of the flooring, so we were going to pull the carpet up and replace it with something, vinyl wood or something like that. I don't know. I don't know wood. I don't know construction. But we were going to do that last weekend. But then, of course, assuming, or at least get most of it done by the weekend, where my dad would basically be putting it down while after he got back up from work, and then he'd probably go, you know, to bed or whatever. That was the plan, and then everybody in the household got COVID. Which went about as well as you would expect it to. So. We're gonna check how... Okay. That's good. That's good. So one more full thing, and I should be able to give these to the NPCs that are on the garden and not have to worry about that. Yeah, so I would get more farming fortune by going to my garden, but, that also takes forever, and I'd like to get at least some of this done in one go. That's fun. Gosh, I just love this. Yeah, I haven't had much... I am not that big of an Asian food guy. I've had some Filipino dishes, because I went to my friend's birthday, or graduation party, after I graduated high school, and I enjoyed the food there. But, like, in general, like, if people say, hey, you want to go to a Chinese restaurant, I'll just be like, no. And they'll be like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I think, if I had to blame anything, when I was a kid, my grandmother, and then my two aunts Which for you Northeasterners, that's what you call aunts, but, you know, I'm Southern, so, like, we call it ants because, U's do not exist in our vocabulary. Okay, occasionally they don't. So, I was being brought back home from Florida, because I was there for about 2 weeks with my aunt, and I just didn't, I got really homesick. And so, on the way back, my grandmother came, and she brought my DSi with Pokemon Heart Gold, or Soul Silver, I think it was Soul Silver. And that kept my attention, but then they're like, alright, we're gonna go out to eat, and then we all went across the street to this Asian restaurant. Now, it was one of those restaurants where, like, they cook with a massive grill at the table with lots of fire, and with a small child in the 3rd grade who while taking a shower, heard the fire alarm going off, saw a nearly burning piece of paper, and because dumb little 2nd grade me, you know, butt naked, you know, runs over and puts the fire out with my bare hands covered by water. I don't know how I didn't burn myself in the process, but yeah, at that point, it went away, but, you know, I'm still scared of fire. So they bring me to this restaurant, and I'm just like, ah! So I just immediately, I begged to go somewhere else, and then my grandmother's like, I understand, and then takes me back to the hotel, and then I get screamed at by my aunts for ruining their night, and I'm just like, I got really upset about it when I was a kid, but looking back, I'm just like, oh, so that's another reason that I don't like my mom's side of the family that much. Actually, how much would all this be selling for? 3 million? Oh my god. This is dumb. This is so dumb. But yeah, so that product's figure that regarding weather in Asian countries, I don't think it's a problem of taking it seriously. I think it's just a problem of we're talking about 2nd world countries here. These are developing nations. I mean, out of all of the countries that get severely affected by typhoons, the only ones that adequately know how to deal with it and have the infrastructure to survive being hit is, like, I guess Shanghai, but that's, like, a maybe. But the only 2 countries I can definitively say are South Korea and Japan. Everywhere else is a developing nation. Right? You look at the... Yeah, how do you have 20 minutes? Oh my god. But you look at those areas and then you're just like, oh, it's an infrastructure issue, which is definitely the majority of it. Is there a farming contest in, like, T minus something? What's it in? Netherwort and wheat. Yeah. Probably should be doing warts, but, like, everybody's getting, like, maxed equipment, and, like, you really need to be doing contests on your garden because the richest players decided to get the entire Fermento set, or probably have already gotten it at this point. And so they're just flexing having, like, the most farming fortune, and it kind of screws people over in that regard. I have gotten... So, we're also talking about the Philippines again. So, like, they get hit by typhoons all the time, and a lot of what we were expecting with Haiyan was, you know, we're talking about a season where they've already had, like, 3 super typhoons made landfall in that area, in the Philippines. The thing is that the Philippines kind of know that typhoons, like, hit their areas, and I'll probably go into it more in depth whenever I cover Haiyan, which is that it was way further south than it probably should have been, because it was very close to the equator. The equator barely, you know, it cuts through Indonesia, just to kind of get perspective here. I think it was barely above 10 degrees north, if I remember correctly. It was something stupid. It was insane that it was that strong, because these... Just be based on, this is just kind of a thing to note. It's because of the Coriolis effect. With the way that winds work, is that the closer you are to the poles, the more extreme, like, rotating winds get, and that's why the further north you get, you kind of see more insane-looking low-pressure systems. But regarding the issue with Haiyan, is that storms that close to the equator get torn up, because they end up going so close to the equator that the winds just stop rotating. The low pressure just stops rotating. And that's why you don't really see a lot of very close... When storms start to approach the equator, they get absorbed into, like, a massive line of just random thunderstorms that don't produce any rotation or anything. Because, like I said, it's because of a bunch of physics stuff that I don't understand, but I'm just referring to what I remember from, I think, Physics 1 last semester. So, that's what I'm remembering. They did issue Signal 3 and 5 warnings, if I remember correctly, for Haiyan. And, again, we're talking about a country that is completely different from ours. And in terms of the buzzsaw thing, I mean, we're talking about a system that peaked at landfall. And while Tacloban was the big area that got hit, we're also talking about an archipelago that is extremely poorly constructed, and so a massive evacuation effort for a bunch of islands is a lot to deal with. At least I think so, but I'm also kind of an idiot, so... Alright, we're about 3/4 of the way through the farms, I think. I hope. Yeah, we should be in about 5-10 minutes, we should be done with this. And then we go to my garden, and then we give everybody their pumpkins, and hopefully they will leave me alone. I at least hope they do. I need to get the Blessed Pumpkin Dice 2.0 and stuff like that. I may honestly be farming pumpkins for most of the stream. Simply because the pumpkin dicer is something I probably should be upgrading. Also the wheat, but wheat is, like, an absolute horror to try and farm. Like, yeah. Alright, yeah, so we're starting to get to the end of this. We are at almost... Yeah, I have a video on Yolanda Haiyan later this year. I'm going to try and get in contact with, so the Nova documentary, actually, interviewed Dr. Marshall from the University of Georgia. Turns out that's gonna be one of my college professors whenever I go into the MET program there in about a year, give or take. So, I'm gonna see if he doesn't mind doing a virtual interview for a video on Haiyan. And I mean, I don't know exactly if that would work, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. What are some other storms that I'm looking forward to researching this year? Because there's a lot. More 2004 or 2003. I forgot which one it was, but that is going to be a fun one. Both more F5 EF5s are just kind of there. Like I really, I put it this way, right? And I kind of explained this at the end of the year retrospectives that I do. Is that the most fun storms to research get a script on faster, more often than not. Texas Deep Freeze was very interesting to me. Winter storms are just interesting to me. I think that they are probably... And I understand to an extent why they're overlooked. Again, it's likely because of just the majority of deaths that happen. It's very rare to see a really bad winter storm. The requests for those are down. When people ask me to cover, like, some... Oh, we were in Illinois and we got, like, a foot of snow from the system, like... That's average. You know, I really hate to say that, but I'm like, if you said that that was in, like, I don't know, North Georgia, then I'd probably be like, okay, that's worthy of a video, but, like, you say, like, North Dakota, and I'm like, that was nothing. Because, like I said, I don't want to lower the bar down to where I'm trying to make everything look like a disaster. Yeah, I'm just... That whole EF skill debate was definitely something. I'm going to squeeze in a couple other stuff in between videos to see if I can get it in, if I just feel like working on something else and I just have the time to do it. The EF scale rant was kind of one of those, even though it was kind of a supplemental thing. But there's a video planned on the Saffir-Simpson scale, which is a scale that I think, in its current state, should not be used for messaging whatsoever. That video will probably go out before hurricane season. If anything, it may go out in May. I'm going to begin scheduling with... There's a professor from the University of Colorado who is proposing a change to base the Saffir-Simpson scale on pressure instead of wind speeds, because, one, pressure is a more constant... Whenever it comes to drop zones and stuff like that, pressure is typically kind of constant. If we're talking about the risk categories, then, I mean, honestly, my whole thing is that the people who are asking for high risks and stuff like that just need to shut up. They just need to get off their high horses and stop being them, because, you know, when it comes to something as complex, because, and this is where I'm gonna kind of go on my little, this is sort of a tangent, but okay, we got a lot of pumpkin. That's 5 million coins in pumpkin. But, you know, I do think there's a couple things that I can say regarding that, which is, one, like, the most egregious thing that SPC does is just high risks for win just don't exist anymore. Yeah, so when I think, okay, yeah, so I think there needs to be, and I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but like, oh, like enhanced more than moderate. I think if it's just a wording thing, then that's one thing. You know, that is specifically a wording issue, I think. You want 11 enchanted okay. Are we going back to my island again? I'm not paying 11 mil. I am not, oh. Okay, it went back down. Okay, that is slightly more reasonable. Okay, now we have 1,000 copper, which now we can get the Lotus Cloak. which is great. Now we can spend this on upgrading crops, so... But I mean, I think that in its current state, that it's probably best that we keep it the way it is, at least for right now. But that's just more so me being very... word here. I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to say here because my brain doesn't work half the time. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just gonna probably stop this train of thought before I say something dumb. I mean, I just think that... because I think the biggest issue with the scale, with the SPC scale, at least as of right now, just comes down to the fact that, you know, I think that they're being too conservative with wind events. And from what I've heard, the main reason as to why they kind of don't like using high risk for wind is... oh, I just realized I had my routed pad out the entire time. That's dumb. That they are... it just doesn't pose as big a threat to life and property as tornadoes do, and I get that to an extent, but I mean... derechos do cause billions of dollars in property damage, and they can and will do that if they have the opportunity to. So... if I had to guess, that probably may have something to do with it. But the Saffir-Simpson scale. The problem with the Saffir-Simpson scale kind of boils down to, like, a gajillion different things, but it's mainly just messaging. If we're talking about the scale itself, I think that wind as an estimate for hurricane intensity is a bit outdated. Or strength, I should say. Because, I mean... we don't base off any other low-pressure system, have too many full systems as tornado events. I think the problem with, so funnily enough, enhanced risks are the perfect risks to be used for high ceiling, low floor events. So, like, we're talking about stuff that models, and this is kind of the thing as to why I keep telling people, you know, if you're mad about this not being a high risk, you don't know what you're talking about, is that, and this has been a real painful reminder for just about everyone, in November, with the first outbreak, with the second outbreak in November, most recently with a bunch of the other stuff we had this year, is that it doesn't take a lot for the potential for an outbreak to just kind of be thrown out the window. And I think that was perfectly encapsulated with the most recent outbreak that we had. I don't think that it's worth issuing a slight risk because, yes, the worst case scenario is plausible enough and is bad enough to warrant something that's a little bit more than the side, but it doesn't deserve a moderate because, well, we're talking about something that, you know, it's likely going to be somewhere in between. And that's why I think that the enhanced risk is there for that reason. It is specifically there, if I had to guess, probably for high ceiling, low floor type events, and that's kind of what... and so then the issue at that point becomes, okay, now we're dealing with people in the industry, and those who either, A, don't have a degree and don't know the issues with forecasting, or B, those who are in it just for the money, constantly hyping up the worst case scenario as that's the most likely scenario to happen using an HRRR run that says, look, Supercell Predator. And then when it fails, they're like, SPC, you bozos. And I'm like, no, you're the ones that who's saying it could be a... Bleh. You know, and that's just, like, the entirety of why I don't think that's the biggest problem with Weather YouTube right now, which is just... The amount of over-exaggeration from literally everybody just makes me sick. It's why I say, you know, if this is the future of broadcast meteorology, I don't want to do anything with it. It's why I've given up that whole dream, and it's probably why I'm going to be going into the NWS. I said I wanted to go into the NWS, but, you know. That's my viewpoint on it. Yeah, whether Twitter... There's a reason why my Twitter feed is just all anime. I mean, I really... Like, people are like, oh my god, that's so degenerate. I'm like, okay, first of all, look at my profile picture. Second of all, it could be so much worse. I literally have the word HRRR muted on my Twitter timeline for a reason. And that may seem really specific for some reason, but, like, trust me, it feels like it's necessary. Like, I feel like... yeah, so... That's typically what I do. Like, if I am getting it from any other source... I don't know what it would be from, actually. What other sources do I, like, shout out on Twitter? I don't know. I'm trying to remember because my brain is small. But yeah, local Mets is typically the way to go. Genuinely. I think that local Mets is probably your best bet whenever it comes to getting weather information. I also think that in terms of if you are in the forecast, so like whenever it comes to like someone like, I don't know, Force 13 or Ryan Hall, you know, if you're watching from like, I don't know, Montana about a tornado outbreak in the south, like, you do you, I guess. You know, I'm not gonna like gripe on you for it because I'm not, you know, a jerk about it. But yeah, whether it's good, it's... With my Discord server, I am trying to make the slow transition to a more general server than general server with a semi-weather focus. It's why that the weather discussion is likely going to get its own rule set at some point or another. I don't know when, but eventually. But I think what I really want to do in terms of just everything is that, I mean, we're talking about... I'm losing my train of thought here. Oh yeah, the watching stream. So like, if you're watching like a Brian Hall stream from like Montana, that's one thing, right? But if you are in the outbreak zone, you need to be listening to your local Mets above anyone else. And, you know, it's like, oh, is it because you're like a meteorologist, like, you know, fanboy getting into the system? I don't know why I did that voice. But, like, my reasoning is, no, they actually know landmarks. You know, Ryan tries occasionally. But your local TV meteorologist is going to know. They're like, oh, it's next to the Walmart on Blink Road, and here it looks like it's between there and then, like, this neighborhood subdivision. You know, they get really specific because they know the geography. When you're doing stuff at a national scale, you can't do that. I think that, and there are, you know, ABC 3340 was the first big news station I can think of that started streaming their stuff on YouTube, and now everyone local is doing it. You know, at least one news provider per area is streaming on YouTube for severe weather now. At least some of them are. I think, so like WSB TV, which is the ABC news provider for the Atlanta Metro, they don't do it on YouTube. But you can also go to their website all of these websites, all of those areas, you can go to their website, but, you know, it's not as convenient as going onto YouTube, right? So, like, I think that, you know, I just realized my speed cap is still at 250 when it's supposed to be at 300. That's why it's going so slow. But, you know, yeah, so, at least here in the south, which, you know, we get severe weather more often than not, once in a while. But in the case of us, what we deal with, you know... Oh, I got a crappie. I just realized. I'm in VC, aren't I? No, I'm not. Okay, I thought I was. That felt weird. I thought I heard a voice. Alright, we're gonna go 350. But, where I live in Georgia, right? In that area, WSB-TV doesn't do it. And the Fox News doesn't. But the NBC News provider... Oh, you wanted Chanted Melons. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, you are going to be happy with me. There you go. Alright, yeah, so where was I again? Oh, yeah. So, most of them in the South do. KHOU Houston does it as well. And even if there aren't any tornado warnings active, they have, like, you know, like an automated stream going on in the background if there's, like, a level, like, an enhanced risk out or something. And... What the hell? Why am I getting 3 back-to-back... That was 3 back-to-back crappies. That's like... Wait a minute. Like, 0.04 times 0.04 times 0.04. Like, the chances of that. But, like, how? Yeah, I don't... Yeah, the problem with Ryan Hall is just, I think it's his ego. It's... You know, I don't think he's okay, if he's wanting to wipe out local CMAs and stuff like that, let me put it this way. You get rid of the National Weather Service, our industry is dead. Like, I really hate to be that guy, but, like, conservative and Democrats, or like, conservatives and liberals agree on the same thing, which is that the NWS desperately needs a funding boost. Because the NWS is one of the few things that we cannot allow to have privatized, because, you know, just the thought of companies saying, oh, you want to know if you're in a tornado warning? Pay us $10 a month, kiddo. You know, that just is inhumane. You know. And so that's the big thing. Do I think... So if we're talking about local meteorologists at the NWS level, no. That will get so much pushback. And I think the problem is that I think that we are in a more digital age. You can get people to, you know, be interested in weather and severe weather coverage, you know? The problem is... So, what I think, and this is kind of something that's going through Congress right now, one of the Republican House members from Oklahoma suggested making NOAA its own independent agency free of the Department of Commerce, which would give them, you know, less bureaucratic nonsense to get through to get stuff done, which I think is a fantastic idea. But also know that, you know, there's the part of my brain that's saying, you know, it could just be them trying to get it outside of the Department of Commerce so they can cut the crap out of the budget. In that case, I wouldn't support it at all. But, you know, it's just like, it is a very complicated process. I think in terms of whether YouTube, and it's the other thing, is that I feel like that when it comes to whether YouTube, you know, I need to disable my chat. I swear. But when it comes to stuff like that, you know, it's just... It's a lot to talk about, because then we're talking about stuff as to what makes people take action, and, you know, I don't know if Riot's good about that. And also in terms of the YouTube stuff, you know, Ryan's going to be... So if you are unaware about this, right? There's a case going up against in the Supreme Court, and we won't know what happens until June 30th. It's Google versus Gonzalez. The reason why that's a problem is because that case is questioning the legality of, you know, online algorithms and whether or not it's protected, it's part of Section 230 or not. The whole debate eventually basically means this. It means that companies that use algorithms, you know, can they be sued or not? If they rule in favor of Google, the answer is no, and the internet stays the same as we are right now, which is the best way. If not, and Gonzalez wins, what ends up happening is that now the companies are liable for whatever people say on their platform, meaning that they either just shut down entirely, or they just go super strict. You know, you can't say anything that could get people sued. And that is a major problem for so many reasons that I don't even think... Basically, it would, in order for it to be fixed, what likely would happen is that Congress would have to, like, emergency fix Section 230 to say, okay, we literally mean that online algorithms, you cannot sue the provider for that. As every single lower court has thrown this case out, and then the Supreme Court decides to take it up because, yes, if they do this, they are pretty much, and I know that, you know, it's mainly just a, oh, conservatives hate Section 230 thing. The problem is that if you take away Section 230, the internet as we know it doesn't exist anymore. So, the thing about tornado sirens is that they aren't actually controlled by the NWS. And I don't think that that tornado sirens on their own is a bad thing. Yeah, so that's you summed it up right there. But my proposal is that, so let me put it this way. My home county in Georgia says that tornado sirens are a waste of taxpayer money. And I slightly disagree with that standpoint. I think they are very good for places like parks, you know, or downtown areas, you know, if you're out and about. I think they work in that context. Which, you know, doesn't sound very massive, but it is something to kind of keep in mind. It's 375 or 275? And whatever, we'll figure that out. You know. Oh, it's 275? Oops. Crappies are 5K now? Bruh. That's sad. Alright, yeah, so let's do our carrot farm. Yeah, so I don't think it's a waste of tax money to a certain extent, and I think that, that extent is, we're talking about places that, literally can't have them. Without, like, being a massive inconvenience. So... yeah, I think... well, the other issue with NOAA weather radios is that, with April 27th, 2011, the squall line in the early morning knocked out those NOAA radio towers in terms of connectivity, which is a problem. So, I think that is something to be careful of, but, I think it is a serious problem that needs to be addressed at some point, and now, probably, but... oh, yeah, I should, yeah, let's do that. Let's... yeah, that honestly may be worth something. It's not a terrible idea. Oh, the fisherman's here. How much you need? Okay, so you need enchanted carrots. That's fine by me. How many do I have? Where's my enchanted sack? Okay, so that isn't a lot, but you know what? We're doing carrots right now, so... you know what? That isn't that big of a deal. We'll just continue getting carrots. Man with bad hearing. Okay, so, like... yeah, so I'm unfamiliar with a lot of the older outbreaks, so... I mean, I think that... especially as of late, we really need to seriously consider what we're going to be doing forward with messaging. I mean, like I said, if it's people saying it's the EF scale, like I said, those people don't know what they're talking about. But I also think that we need to also start looking at social scientists to also help us find the answer of what the best way to communicate is. Because I think that, like I said in the EF scale rant, social scientists know more about how humans react than meteorologists and weather enthusiasts do, simply because of what they do for their job. We're talking about an industry that is primarily based on trying to remember what I'm trying to say here, because my brain is like short fusing like it's nothing today. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I had 2 tests this week, and then I have another test in Calc 2 next week, and then I also need to get to work on the Maria video at some point tomorrow, so I'm just spending today doing nothing but playing Minecraft. Because yes. I don't know why, I find this kind of relaxing. I've been live streaming doing nothing but farming for an hour. My focus is just on point. Oh, it's just been a stressful week, if I had to say anything about it. So. Why are my ears doing the funny thing? My ears are doing a funny thing. Nah, I don't think it's that. It's just, you know, I'm also running on very little food right now, and I think it's probably me just getting the hungies, so... Honestly, it's probably that. I normally don't talk for this long in one straight concurrent session. I know, coming from the person who has made multiple near hour-long videos on weather stuff. Funnily enough, I do want to mention something about that, regarding how I record those. So, funnily enough, the best thing to do before recording those is to, you know, take 2 cough drops, and that might sound really dumb, but, like, it helps alleviate dry mouth, technically. Like that's one of the things it does, so, you know, me being, well, me, I prefer doing that compared to anything else, so... That, and I like how the strawberry ones taste, which, like, you know... Totally doesn't sound weird out of context. Oh, yes, I like casually eating cough drops. Like, that's something that a normal person would say. That's totally something that I would say. Yeah, I did the upload last night instead of a premiere because, yeah, less super chats or whatever. But that was more so just I needed to get this out as soon as physically possible, so... Okay, that is kind of weird, but, you know. I mean, look, I am unironically considering getting a partnership with GamerSubs at some point, so, like, it could always be worse. Because, yes, I'd like to team up with the company whose cups would probably get me demonetized because it looks like because there's a booba on the cups. But, like, at the same time, like, I love their product, you know, and it's probably the closest we'll be getting to like, the first thing of Alferia merch will likely be some sort of partnership between me and GamerSubs, if I had to guess, you know. And I know it's weird that a weather guy would be into doing that partnership, but, like, it would be kind of funny. At least I think it would be funny. I don't know. Oh my god, why are you... Oh yeah, they released a new cup today, so I need to check and see whether or not I am in desperate need of more gamer subs, because yes, I make good financial decisions. I don't. My parents have just kind of given up at this point. Like, they've seen the degeneracy, and they're just like, whatever, do what you want. So, you know. They've kind of just, you know, looked at it, said, you know, it could be worse, and then just kind of went on with their day. Yeah, that is a problem. Shipping internationally, yeah, shipping here to my house is like $9 through GamerSubs, which is just weird. Yay, crappie. Yeah, that sounds like something that happened. I need a drink of my tea. I just realized that we have 69 in our copper counter. Nice. Alright, that should hopefully be enough enchanted carrots. Get the rabbit pet out. What do you want? You want enchanted cocoa beans. I don't have a cocoa bean farm. Yeah, they have sus bars. Yeah, that's about a mil in enchanted carrots. Okay, how much would it be for me to get 24 compost? I'm curious here. Or, actually, no, for 13? That isn't terrible. It used to be a lot worse. So, okay, try to think here. Logically speaking, because I don't think I'm gonna really need a potato thing this urgently. I think what I can do... What I think I'll do is that I will put down a cocoa bean farm somewhere. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go right now. Okay, so it's not that way. Oh, yeah, it's this one. We get to clear up the 3 minutes of the cup, by the way. Okay, okay. Well, tell me if it's a good design, and then I'll go from there. We also need that. Yeah, so we gotta... Yeah, it's Valentine's dedicated, so, you know, I mean, I got the Frisky Kitty Cup because, yes. Alright. There we go. Alright, I gotta see this now. Let's see. Problem is that I'd be spending $40 on a... I mean, it does come free with... Oh, yeah, that... I'm not a big fan of that pink and red. I may pass on this. Like I said, I prefer more darker colors with... I just don't think red and pink go well. I mean... I think some lighter colors work together, but not a lot of the time. Yeah, leather, but I mean, like, that has, like, a distinct thing attached to it. If I can stop getting stuck. Oh, yeah, I had my doctor's appointment today, and my psychiatrist just said up front, you know, you keep talking about how you have YouTube as your job, but you never actually, like, what's your channel? And I'm just like, oh god, that's the second time a doctor has asked me that. Second time. My family doctor asked that when I said that was my new job, and then instantly went on, because, you know, his son got famous on TikTok or whatever, and I earned more money than his son, which, you know, funny, haha, but, no. It's not shame, it's more so just like, you know, oh my god kind of deal. I don't know. TikTok. Yeah, there's too much controversy around TikTok, and, you know, I understand that, and I get it, and honestly, I kind of agree. But, you know, I'm just gonna argue that if we're talking about dumb stuff that's a threat to our national security, does this mean we can ban Genshin Impact? Like, theoretically, right? Like Hoyoverse is, like, you know, it's based in China. And, you know, Genshin Impact players are, like, the worst thing known to man. So, like, I mean, would anything of value really be lost? I mean, Twitter is genuine. I mean, Facebook, I mean, I wouldn't, like, cry tears if Facebook got banned. But, like, in the case of Twitter, like, you know, I rely on that to keep in touch with people. Like, my artists, mainly. I mean, if Twitter ended up becoming unusable at some point, then I know that Celtic has a Discord. I don't think he's very active on it, but he's in my server. But I just know he doesn't talk much. Yeah, but I see what you mean. I mean, it's just a whole lot to, like, digest, I'd say. I think I might be... Okay, so... Genuinely thinking about going out to Senior Shoals and then going by Kroger and stuff momentarily. I don't know. I mean, okay, actually, on second thought, no, because I don't want to leave the house because I'm lazy. Yeah, it is a First Amendment issue. I also think that, taking away Section 230 would also be a First Amendment issue, but, you know. I mean, we're talking about a very old case here. We're talking about, like, when the Paris attacks happened when ISIS was still around. Like, that is the subject that they are basing their argument on, and I'm just like... Why? I mean... They're trying to argue that Google is somehow partially responsible for their daughter's death, and I'm just like... No? Like, I mean, sorry for your loss, but she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, genuinely. And so, waging war on Google... There's a lot of reasons to hate Google, and I'm not defending them, because, you know... Despite the fact that their platform is allowing me to, you know, do something I love, I will admit, Google kinda sucks. But at the same time, in their defense here, them ruling in favor of the family would literally screw over everybody. I don't... They're trying to get the sympathy vote. I think that's what they're trying to do. But, like... It's just one massive issue that... It's just... It may seriously be a... It could be very problematic. And that just kind of scares me. Okay, so I guess I did miss some grass or something. Alright. Am I gonna have to, like... Oh, so that counts. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay, this is much faster. Okay. Me and my small brain. Oh, yeah, that issue is just... God. Alright, well, I guess that means we're getting the cocoa chopper out now. Go to the hex. Let's throw... Okay, the thunder prices are just collapsing now. You want 3 enchanted golden carrots. Okay, well, I'm not... What I'll do is that I will do that. And then I will get... Where's my melon dicer? Melon dicer. Boop! Cool. Yeah, and... Yeah, it's just, like, a lot of these companies are just, like, asking for a walking OSHA violation. Like, it's just... Yeah, let's put the lantern helmet back on. Let's go back, and melons are like my favorite thing to farm. And like, I don't even need to mention the Mayfield factory being a walking OSHA violation as their greeting card, so... I don't know. I think the lawsuit is still ongoing. If not, it may have been settled. But, you know... I think the Texas one with Gritty Energy ended so fast, I think because the state attorney general filed a suit against them as well, against Gritty. So if I had to guess, that may have had something to do with it, but again, I'm not sure. Oh my god, it's a fart man. Hi. Yeah, I'm getting the hungries. I'm getting the munchie. I have been doing nothing but farming for about an hour and a half. Because, yes. I didn't mean to do that. Is the life domestic coding up? Fine. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, working too hard. I am literally going to start researching Maria tomorrow, so... Better than... I don't know what else I'd be doing. I haven't heard anything about it either, but I may just need to do a quick Google search and see what's going on there. But right now, I'm just playing Minecraft because yes. I showed my mom watches my videos occasionally, or she likes to watch them. And so I got her caught up with the ones that she didn't see last year, which I think the last one she saw was, I think, the November 17th one. So she watched the video on Katrina. That was very good. She watched the one in Salt Lake City, thought that was good. And then we watched my end-of-the-year retrospectives that I do. And we got to the California Girls bit, and she just said, "What the hell? Why is this in there?" And I'm like, it's for the funny. You gotta consider the funny factor. Though, honestly, that's probably just a me thing. And that gave us a bunch of enchanted melons. That's cool, I guess. Oh, and Trevor's here. Alright, let's see what he wants. How much are 2 enchanted? Nothing. Practically nothing. Alright, so these boys are still growing. Okay. Enchanted bell. Oh my god, stop! Let's see, what? Mainly, I'm feeling like getting another set of rancher boots, which sounds dumb, but like, come on. Oh, I still have my rabbit pet out. That explains it. Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm not very familiar with that event, so... Oh, and how much would it cost to ship? Like, too much? Oh, that isn't terrible. I love when my guild chat is just talking about stacks of meat, and I'm just like, what the hell? And a Prime membership. International shipping. That has a lot to do with it. Yeah. Yet again, it may honestly be better for me to just farm this on my own island, but... Jacob's contest right now? What's in? Carrot mushroom. How much is Turbo Carrot going for? We'll see if it's worth it. Okay. Money. Oh no, this is on a Hypixel, so... Carrot one! That's 17. but I don't need to. Why are people in my guild chat just going crazy? Quite after it gets the fridge. Well, maybe it's because they deserve. Anyways, why is it just like for Twitter's sake? That was a joke. Yeah, that. And I mean, don't even ask who was in Paris. I just recently found out that that was just a reference to the Kanye song. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why. Oh, that's why. I am going to end stream after this Jacobs contest because I need to sleep. Well, less so sleep. I need rest. I've been waking up and I haven't been able to really go to bed lately. I don't know why. Every single time before I go to bed, I'm like, all right, time to go to bed. And then my mouth is like, ha, sucks to be you, dry mouth moment. And I'm like, what? And then, like, no matter how much water I drink, my mouth just stays dry and thirsty, and so my body is just like, so are you gonna get something for that dry mouth? And I'm like, why? Yeah, winter is just... I mean, I think it's just... I mean, you guys got December, and then I think Mother Nature's like, okay, that may be a bit too much lull, and then just kind of backed off. Honestly, I may be able to get silver. I mean, okay, no, that's very unlikely looking at how much of my plot I have left for carrots, but I can dream. Yeah, you really do need 2 plots to do well in these contests. Winter in my area? Kind of normal, actually. I mean, December was crazy, but, like, besides that, I mean, like, it's been cold in the mornings, pretty decent overall. Well, I say cold in the morning, but I mean cold for Southerners, and, like, my definition of cold is, like, the exact opposite of everyone else, because I wear a hoodie everywhere. So they're just like, how are you not cold? How are you not, like, burning up? And I'm just like... That's a great question. I don't know either. Oh, you want enchanted pumpkins. You want enchanted melons. So I sold all the carrots. That's like 3.7 mil. That's a lot of carrots. I got, well, I mean, that's all potatoes, that's wheat, that's cocoa bean, that's pumpkin, melon. Yeah, now that we are done, I'm gonna go ahead and probably end stream. It's been nice talking to you all. I'm gonna go take a nap, so you all have a good